guys, welcome to today's video where I am going to be doing the quarantine Q&A tag. It is 10 questions long. Now, I was tagged by the lovely Farrah here on YouTube, and I will have her channel put up in a card for you guys. Please check her out. She is awesome. She has a lot of great content, cleaning videos. She has probably the most beautiful and sculpted jaw I have ever seen on a human being. She's just really awesome, and she's a mom of 7. So this girl has her routine down pat. She has to be organized just by necessity. But anyhow, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into these questions on the quarantine Q&A. Okay, so the first question is, how has work changed for you? I work in the home. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so well, I guess some aspects of my job have changed. It's not as if I have a job that I leave the house and go to. So it hasn't really changed at all for me. My husband's really hasn't changed. He is in the healthcare field, so he still goes to work. He has to wear a mask for 12 hours a day, which I'm sure is not fun. But yeah, his job really hasn't changed. So yeah, not much has changed in that department for our household. Okay, number 2, how has home life changed? Home life has changed a little bit in terms of the fact that my oldest, G, is home with us during the day. I am homeschooling him now. So our mornings had to be kind of restructured to accommodate that. And I've had to kind of just adjust little things here and there, little tweaks. I still get up at the same time. I get up between 6 and 6:30 kind of naturally. I'm a morning person. It's just how I am. My children are morning people, and they are usually up by 7:30, 7:45. So, you know, getting up early still hasn't changed. And, you know, obviously we don't really go anywhere, which is a huge change for us. We like to schedule trips as often as we can, just given my husband's work schedule and my son's school schedule. And staying home and not going out and doing stuff is very different for us. My husband, if he has a day off, he wants to take off. He just has to. Staying home is not in his repertoire, so that's definitely changed. But like the day-to-day function, not drastically, I would say. Question 3 is, do you know anyone who has tested positive for COVID-19? I myself personally do not, but to put that into perspective, I only know one person who actually was tested. Okay, question number 4 is, what is your toilet paper situation like? Which is such a funny question, but so apt right now. And let me just give you an example of what my toilet paper situation is like right now. Okay, obviously this is a massive kind of industrial roll that you would see at like Target and Disneyland. Maybe I should pretend that I'm peeing at Disneyland so I feel better, so it cheers me up. I don't know. But anyhow, this is where we are right now. We actually needed toilet paper when people were still A, panic buying, and B, buying so they could sell it at a premium on eBay. So my husband, being the intrepid online shopper that he is, found some giant rolls of industrial toilet paper. He bought a box. We have maybe like 6. We just finished one. We have like 6 left. And it's not the greatest, but I'm still incredibly grateful that we have it. Now, you know, if we wanted to go out and shop and buy regular toilet paper, now with stores having limitations and actually kind of sticking to their guns when it comes to limitations on toilet paper, the stores are well stocked. So it's not really an issue anymore, but we have it still. Obviously, we're going to have it for a long time, so we're going to go through it. And hopefully we can go back to buying toilet paper the way we normally do, which is at either Costco or Sam's Club, just their large pack that you would get kind of standard. That's usually what we buy. But for now, we have this, and it's not the greatest, but neither is it the worst. So yeah, this is where we are right now. Okay, number 5. What are grocery stores like where I live? I can only tell you what they are like on the outside. I have not been inside of a store since maybe like March 8th or 9th was the last time I was probably in a store. Here, stuff closed down for us, I believe on March 14th. Pretty sure. But anyhow, and I live in California if you're wondering. But on the outside, everybody's doing the, 6 foot apart distance. They're limiting how many people can be in a store at a time. I have heard that there's like direction, like aisle thingies that you have to follow. I don't know. I have been using online shopping and then the Walmart grocery pickup where they bring it to your car. So I have not been in a store, so I don't really know. But yeah, I didn't hear of any like super chaotic things happening where I live. Thank goodness. Number 6, what is your city like? Aside from some like small stores being closed and restaurants being kind of takeout only, it really hasn't changed much that I saw. Like I said, I haven't been in any stores really, but I've been driving around when I have to go to Walmart or where else have I driven? I haven't really driven anywhere else. But from what I could see, people are still out and about driving. There's people walking. They do wear masks for the most part. Some people don't. But yeah, the traffic is still kind of awful. So, so yeah, that hasn't really changed all that much. From what my husband has told me, he's had a lot less in terms of crowds when he's out and about. Obviously, he's out clearly more often than me. He's out just during his work week, and he said that slowly things are kind of picking back up as slowly things kind of are relaxed a bit. So, which obviously I don't think anybody's a fan of. He said it was really, really nice driving on the freeway when there weren't a lot of people on the road. But, obviously that's not going to last. That's just not going to last. Number 7 is, if you have kids, what is the situation like? Are they at home or daycare? I have 2 kids. I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. Not much has changed for my 3-year-old. His day-to-day is pretty much the same. He misses Target as much as I. He was my Target partner. We would drop his bubby off and then we would hit the store and we would share a popcorn and do some shopping. So he does ask to go from time to time, but we'll get back there. We will. And then my oldest, he is home with us. He was in kindergarten, so him being gone all day, 5 days a week was kind of new for us anyway. But they're doing really good. They haven't really had any type of issues or concerns. I know some kids are a little bit more maybe concerned about the situation than others. Obviously, my 3-year-old's going to be completely oblivious. And then my 6-year-old, he is aware of the fact that we are, staying at home and why. I've asked him if he's had any questions on it. He doesn't really have any, other than, when are we going to go see his cousin? And, when can we have a party? Basically, he misses everybody. But for the most part, they're the same. I try to limit my news consumption, and what news I do get, I try to make sure that it is written so that I'm reading it instead of listening to it out loud. I'm not a big fan of the way news is formatted now compared to when I was a child. I just don't think that it's the most responsible, and so I try not to involve myself with that. I basically read all my news, and so he's not exposed to the worst of what we've heard during the pandemic, which I am happy for, and kind of intentionally set out for that to be the case. And that's just me. That's just me. He's very young, so he doesn't really need to know. Okay, question number 8. What are some of the negative things that have come from this? For myself personally, I would say most of the negative things fall under, and Farrah actually said the same thing, most of the negative things are pretty much just inconveniences, not being able to get to the store very easily, not being able to, really shop in an enjoyable way, which again is just an inconvenience. Not being able to find things as easily, you know, things aren't always readily available right now, which is very, very unusual. As an American consumer, we are used to pretty convenient shopping situations nowadays. We have gone to get something and it not be available. That's something that we've kind of had to adjust to. But you know, we manage. So again, it's mostly inconveniences. I would probably say for me, I've had some anxiety over this, especially in the beginning when things were a lot more uncertain, and they still kind of are, but when it was all much more new and thus much more scary, I had concerns about it and a little bit of anxiety and just, you know, like wondering how bad this was going to be. And again, we still don't know, but also how bad people were going to react. People do crazy things when they're scared, and it's not always easy to stop and think. And, you know, that was probably my biggest concern. You hear about people fighting over toilet paper and hand sanitizer, and you think, you know, WTH, what is wrong with you? I just choose to limit how much of that I see. And even with that, it doesn't seem like it's happening very often. And then I have a member of my family who was really, really hit, and I will keep who they are private just for their privacy, just out of respect for them. But she was really, really racked with pretty bad anxiety, and she, you know, it kind of took her a while to get her groove back, so to speak. But other than that, again, just inconveniences. We have been so fortunate. So yeah, we're doing pretty good, which I am very, very grateful for. Okay. Number 9, what are some of the positive things that have come out of this? I can say for myself personally, I have more time in the afternoon. Aside from weekday mornings, I pretty much have a great deal of time. We started a garden, and that has been going I'm like the Black Widow of plants. They come to me and like, here, let me help you die. That is basically my experience with plants. I've never been able to keep anything alive ever. If I even got it to grow, I just do not have a green thumb, but for whatever reason, we're doing pretty good with what we've been growing lately, and I've enjoyed that. So that's been nice. I've been able to do some baking and kind of putting some effort that I didn't have the energy or time for into my dinners, because we don't have t-ball, we don't have soccer, we don't have any of our normal extracurricular activities. Like the pandemic hit and everybody was asked to stay home during baseball season, where we would have been gone 3 days a week and on top of school. So just having that kind of free time has felt like a bit of a luxury for me, even though my son does miss it. And I know that once everything has passed, we will go right back into, but just not having to keep appointments has been really, really nice. And I think that too, just on a grander scale, I think it's made people much more appreciative of what they have and much more appreciative of the work that people do for them. I know that a lot of people have talked about necessary workers, people who are needed to support infrastructure and just to support the economy, and people that we rely on. And I think that while most of us have always respected doctors and nurses, people who have those kinds of jobs, very few people, I don't necessarily think that people set out to do this, but it was never on our minds about people who run a drive-through, people who are EVS workers and take out the trash and wipe down facilities that we use as we go out in the general public. And we are now kind of realizing, oh yeah, we need those people. And I think that's a really, really good thing. I think it's a good thing to realize that the person who's bagging your groceries is doing a service and is doing something that they deserve to be paid a living wage for. So I think that's a really, really good thing. And then again, I also think that just people taking advantage of being home with their families in the limited capacity that you can. Obviously, most of us are living with our immediate families, not really being able to see, not really being able to, you know, gather in large groups. People have had to postpone weddings or had their wedding just be the bride and groom and the family watching online or not at all. People, unfortunately, having to delay funeral gatherings. All of those things have kind of put into perspective how important being able to gather with your loved ones is. So again, I think just in terms of perspective and what we consider important and valuable has had a shift in a positive way. So I think that those are probably what I would consider positive outcomes to this. And then the final question, number 10, is how has your neighborhood changed? Really, for the most part, I would say that the biggest change is I see more people out like walking and kids riding their bikes more often. And then I would say another one of the changes in my neighborhood, which I'm not exactly thrilled about, is I live across the street from me, and behind the set of neighbors that live across the street, there's this big valley, almost like a gorge, and there's no water there. It's all desert. And we would have a lot of like dirt bikers and dune buggy people. That has always been the case. My street, it's very convenient to get down into it from there for them. And, you know, we're used to it. We would hear it on, you know, every weekend, and sometimes like on holidays and stuff like that, we would hear them. But since sheltered in place has kind of been implemented, they're there 7 days a week, and sometimes till like 2, 3, 4 in the morning out riding their all-terrain vehicles, which, hey, during the day, that's fine. Maybe even late into the evening. It just seems a little bit discourteous to be doing it at 3 in the morning. I can't imagine what the people who live directly across from me are hearing, because I can hear it over here. So that's probably the only changes that have happened in my neighborhood. You still see, you know, people going out to get their mail, and we're not like a big close together community the way my street is. Most of us are living on an acre, I would say, for the most part, but it's not like track home where you can hear your neighbor's toilet flush or anything. So there's a great deal of space here. But yeah, it hasn't changed too much, other than you see more people out and about during the week. But yeah, that's about it. Oh, and another way that my neighborhood has changed, there's a house across the street from me. It's very mysterious. It's very odd. And we're not exactly sure what goes on there. We call it the Klopek House, if you've ever seen The Burbs with Tom Hanks. It's a house pretty much full of young people. I don't exactly know how many, but on the weekends, they have like upwards of 20 cars there for the weekend. We don't know what they do. And this is over and over again. And there's a big sign saying, "Go around back, don't ring the bell." So I don't know if this is some sort of business or if it's some sort of I don't know what it is. Okay. My husband and I have speculated endlessly, but we don't know what it is. And we have seen some pretty strange characters as guests coming in and out of their driveway. We never see them. You don't see them going in. You don't see them coming out. It's all very mysterious and strange. So I will say that activity there has definitely lessened. It's just the strangest house. To be a fly on the wall of that house, I would love. But yeah, the activity at that particular house has definitely like trickled down to almost nothing. So that will be interesting when that starts up again. But for now, they're pretty quiet. So that's a huge change in the neighborhood, because from what I understand, nobody really knows for sure what's going on there. And there are people who've been on the street for like 30 plus years. So yeah, I don't... Just to give you a little bit of insight as to some of my neighbors. Most of my neighbors are very normal. But we have some characters on this street, so yeah, I just thought I'd share that one with you because I thought it was funny that whatever it is that they do over there has pretty much stopped. And I guess once the shelter in place recommendations kind of go by the wayside, that'll probably pick up again. So that'll be kind of interesting to see how that evolves over time. But yeah, just we probably all have that one weird neighbor on our street, and those ones are definitely ours. Okay, who am I going to tag time? I will tag, and if I tag you, do not feel any pressure to do the tag. You can completely ignore it. It's no never mind to me. This is just people who, you know, I think would have interesting answers, and people that I know. So if it's something that you want to do, great. If it's something that you're like, I don't really feel like doing it, you're not going to break my heart. So I will tag Daisy at Beautiful Life. I will tag Ashley at My Life is Ashley. And everybody always tags 3, right? Let me think. Who else do I want to tag? There's so many people. Oh, Troy from At Home with Troy. I will tag her as well. And again, if you don't want to do it, don't feel any pressure to. But if you do want to do it and I didn't tag you, consider yourself tagged. Go for it. Why not? Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.